Please video like and subscribe this channel. The galaxy had long moved on. Planets once teeming with civilizations now whispered tales of heroes, monsters, and battles that had been lost to the annals of time. On Valin 3, a planet known for its dense purple forests and luminous oceans, the legends of the Ether Guardians were considered nothing more than stories to entertain children. The elders spoke of starships infused with ancient energy, of warriors whose power could bend reality, and of a human race that, long ago, had walked among the stars and fought alongside these guardians. But to the inhabitants of Valin 3, these were fables, forgotten, dismissed, irrelevant. Until the sensors picked up a signal. It was Lieutenant Cale Arden who first saw the readings. The orbital outpost, perched on the edge of Valin 3's atmosphere, had been tasked with monitoring traffic between the nearby star systems. Most ships passing through were trade vessels or scientific probes, nothing of real consequence. But this blip was different. The craft was small, sleek, and metallic, its hull gleaming with a faint silver-blue sheen that reflected the distant star. Its movement defied conventional propulsion, slipping through asteroid fields with uncanny agility. But what caught Cale's attention most wasn't its maneuverability, it was the emergency transponder, broadcasting a call in a human dialect long thought extinct. "A human ship," Cale murmured. His voice echoed in the control chamber. "Impossible. Humans haven't been in this sector for centuries." He activated the long-range scanner. The ship was real, solid, and heading directly for Valin 3. The council convened immediately. Among them was Elira, the planet's chief historian and the self-proclaimed keeper of legends. She had spent her life cataloguing stories of the Ether Guardians, always dismissed by peers as a dreamer. But when the readings came in, her hands trembled. "It's them," she whispered, barely audible. "The legends, they've returned." Most scoffed. Humans were myths. Guardians were myths. And yet, every sensor reading confirmed it. The ship was real, and something about its design resonated with the ancient energy signatures described in her texts. Cale and Elira watched together as the human ship descended toward the planet's surface, its engines leaving streaks of iridescent light across the violet sky. The forests below shimmered with anticipation, as if the planet itself recognized the return of an old power. The ship landed in the valley of Shilar Plains, where the grass grew in strange, luminous patterns and the air hummed faintly. Cale led the first landing team to approach, weapons drawn but hearts racing. As they neared the craft, the hatch hissed open. Out stepped a human man, tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair and eyes that reflected a calm intelligence. His uniform bore insignias Cale did not recognize, but there was a presence about him that immediately commanded respect. "I am Commander Elias Vaughn," the man announced, his voice firm yet steady. "I come with no hostile intent. I am here to restore balance to this system." Cale and his team exchanged uneasy glances. Restore balance. What did he mean? It didn't take long to understand. Within hours of his arrival, phenomena that had been dormant for millennia began to stir. Strange energy pulses radiated from the forests, awakening creatures that had long been considered extinct. Massive crystal structures, once thought inert, began emitting light and low-frequency vibrations. And in the skies, auroras danced in formations that spelled ancient runes Cale had only seen in Elira's texts. Elira clutched her journal tightly. The Ether Guardians, They were never gone. They've been waiting for a human. Vaughn moved among them with a calm authority, placing his hands over the glowing crystals, channeling the energy that surged from them. The air vibrated with an almost musical resonance, and Cale felt a strange warmth spread through him. It was as if the legends themselves were breathing again. "They call to me," Vaughn said quietly, as if sharing a secret. "And now, they call to you as well." The first challenge came at dusk. Shadows moved unnaturally in the forests, and creatures that had been dormant for centuries emerged, drawn to the energy released by Vaughn's ship. Cale and his team fired their weapons, but the projectiles seemed to barely touch the creatures. Vaughn raised his hands, palms glowing faintly, and the beasts froze mid-motion, their forms shimmering before dissolving into harmless sparks. Cale stared in disbelief. "How?" "Legends are never just stories," Vaughn said. "They are truths waiting for the right moment and the right person to awaken them." By nightfall, the valley was calm, but the council understood that the humans' arrival had triggered a chain reaction far beyond their comprehension. Ancient defenses, long inactive, were reactivating. Some were protective, some dangerous, some simply alive. Days passed. Vaughn taught Cale and Elira how to interact with these energies, how to channel them without being consumed. Cale discovered that the human was not just powerful, he was strategic, compassionate, and incredibly disciplined. And yet, he carried a weight in his eyes, a shadow of battles fought long before anyone on Valin 3 had been born. One night, as they studied a massive floating crystal that pulsed like a heartbeat, Elira asked, "Why now? Why did you come after all these years?" Vaughn looked to the horizon, where two moons rose in tandem. "Because the galaxy forgets too easily. Because legends are dismissed. And because imbalance cannot last forever." He paused, and his gaze softened. The forgotten can always return, if someone dares to believe. Trouble came swiftly. Across the nebula, rival factions had detected the human ship and perceived it as a threat. They dispatched a fleet to eliminate Vaughn before his presence could rally the legends. Cale watched as dozens of enemy vessels warped into the system, their weapons primed. "It's them," Cale muttered. "The galaxy doesn't want legends to rise." Vaughn's eyes narrowed, but his demeanor remained steady. "Let them come. The legends are no longer forgotten. And I am not alone." The battle was unlike anything Cale had ever seen. The human ship moved with unmatched precision, weaving through enemy fire as energy beams from the planet itself struck with deadly accuracy. Crystals levitated from the forests, forming shields and weapons, obeying Vaughn's subtle commands. The legends, once dormant, had awakened. Cale realized then that the myths of the Ether Guardians were true, not exaggerations, not mere tales. And standing at the heart of it all was a single human who had returned at the right moment to ignite them once more. When the dust settled, Valin 3 was scarred but alive. Enemy vessels retreated, either in fear or defeat, and the planet's defenses returned to dormancy, waiting for the next time they would be needed. Cale approached Vaughn. "You did it. You brought the legends back." Vaughn shook his head, a faint smile on his lips. "I didn't. We did. You, Elira, this planet, we awakened them together. Legends exist in the hearts of those willing to believe. My ship was just the spark." Elira, tears in her eyes, wrote in her journal, "The forgotten legends came alive because of one human ship and those who dared to trust in the impossible." Months later, Vaughn prepared to leave. Cale and Elira watched as the human ship lifted from the valley, glowing in the twin moonlight. "Will they remember next time?" Cale asked. "They will," Elira replied. "Because now, they know. Legends are not just stories. They are waiting for those who have courage enough to heed them." As the ship disappeared into the nebula, Cale understood the truth. Some moments in history could change everything. And sometimes, all it took was one human ship to awaken the forgotten legends of the galaxy.